Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sills.
Hello, welcome back to part 2 of this very hot special.
And that's just us.
That's just us. Hey, I did that joke.
Hey.
I did a joke when the first I did that, and then I messed it up. Anyway, Galaxy TQ are bringing you this episode. Please check them out and all that good stuff. Thanks everyone.
And also the Met Office as well. They're bringing it to this episode as well.
Yeah. And we're talking about dentists as well in the break. So
we were, yeah.
So if any dentists are around, let us know.
Yeah. We go to the same Newton Abbey dentist. It turns out. So if you're watching, call us.
Yes.
You owe me some money back.
Hopefully, I won't see you soon. Anyway, so we're in Kelly's corner.
Back by popular demand.
Sounds like an ominous place to be to me, but
yeah, sounds like ice cream.
Oh,
it's hot, isn't it?
Kelly's corner. Yes. So, 2 questions on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you once again, Yellow Army, for those who interacted with us this week. Start on Twitter this week for a change. Farnborough, obviously the win last night. Who was your man of the match and why? Rachel says it was Aaron Jarvis. Immense, even during that first half sluggish team performance, he was the standout.
Agree.
Craig Hughes says Brett Mcgavin for me. He worked his socks off and was box to box, helping out the defence when needed, and also looking to burst forward or create openings for our forwards.
I still think it's best to come from him. He was good.
Who would have thought that we would have been discussing Brett Mcgavin bursting anywhere? But
crazy, isn't
it? He was good.
Phil Perkins says can't look past Jarvis, but honourable mentions for Ash, Lapsley, and Tomlinson, whose run and pass for the first goal was quality.
Yeah.
Dan Torquayman, who did a great job, the Aveley tweeting on Saturday. Didn't see the game, so I'll just
say... he didn't, did it when we lost, but, I'll take your point.
Didn't see the game, so I'll just, as long as the consensus is that it was anyone apart from Mark Halstead, then that's a sign of progress for me. Mark Halstead is our player of the year already, by the way. I would agree with that 100%.
Aaron Jarvis will be player of the year come the end of it.
Sophie says Mcgavin. I thought he worked his socks off last night. And that man there says Halstead for continuity. So
interestingly, my dad made his debut at writing the talk verdict, which was exciting. I understand with him with his little notebook as well. I took that photo as well, so those of you interested in that sort of thing. He wanted to make one of his honorable mentions was Marshall, which was always interesting because he was like, he might be far off man. I can't be far off man of the match. So I was like, it can't be defender in a game we've dominated, but he was very dominant area.
Yeah, and Tomlinson on that goal, I kind of mentioned earlier. That is what I want from a centre back.
Yeah,
what a ball through, calm on the ball, amazing. Well done, mate.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, Marshall was good as well. He had problems with his eyes as well. He kept coming to the side and having eye drops and various things. So he maybe did well to get it. I
thought the timing of his headers had gone a bit backwards again last game. So
yeah, couldn't see probably why.
Yeah. I hope that gets sorted.
And then I've got a couple on Facebook, a different question this week. My favourite player in the entire world, as everyone knows, is Brett Mcgavin. Still hasn't scored yet, Don, by the way. So nervous sweat getting those.
When we had that free kick on the edge of the box in the second half, I was thinking,
why didn't he have it?
Stobbs, get out of the way. Go on.
Stobbs, I really like Stobbs, so that wasn't a free kick worth of robbing it. No, it wasn't. Brett Mcgavin absolutely breaking the top side.
Top bins, as my kids would say. Come on, top bins.
Top bins, that's it. This week on Facebook, we asked the question: has your opinion of Brett Mcgavin changed after his performance last night against Farnborough? Gary still has faith in Brett. Does the Yellow Army? Quite a bit of interaction for this one. So once again, thank you to everyone who put their views across this week.
Our views first.
Yes.
It's one game, but I've always saw potential in Brett. And I hope we can start to support his role and he can take that chance now. But that's my view.
No, my view of him hasn't changed because I've always thought he's a player with good ability. It's the sort of player I like, as I said. I think he's a young lad. He's come to a big-ish football club at this level. From he was released by his side, so it sometimes it does take a bit of time. So no, my opinion of him hasn't changed, but you just want to see evidence of that ability more often than we have so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, my opinion still hasn't changed, but the other way. one game doesn't forgive everything for me. Yes, I know he seems to be the one to be picked on a lot. There's just so many games last season I saw, and I just didn't see anything about him, and just the lack of pace and it's just effort off the ball, I felt. But like I said in the last episode, I want every Torquay player to do well for us. I really want it to work out for him here. I still think the National League South is probably his level. And I'm glad that he had a good game last night. Hopefully he can get on a bit of a run and shut me up. I mean, I once said Jamie Reid's useless at Torquay United in the National League South. So that's kind of how my opinions are. I wouldn't listen to much I say, quite honestly. But
that's not a good advert for Torquay Talk.
Yeah,
it's also it's got to be said that I wasn't a huge fan of Jamie Reid either. It has to be said for in that. And if truth be told, I am amazed, a little bit far. I mean, very surprised at how successful he's now been in the Football League, because I thought he'd probably make a decent National League forward with a bit of confidence. But
I love
to see how he's gone on and he's playing in the Football League. He's in League One now. I mean, wow.
Jamie Reid's comeback's amazing, but Mark Holstead, that is the biggest one. I mean, I always looked at Holstead and said, "You're just mentally
stuff a legend.
You're so nervous in your game. We're not seeing a true Mark Holstead."
But it proves it, doesn't it, lads, that any player can turn it around.
Oh, sorry. It's all about
goes to show what a mental game football is as well.
And Gary Johnson,
I think House was shot mentally after that start, wasn't he?
Oh, I think he's moved away from home possibly and all that. Well, he's in Blackpool, so I presume so. But and he was at Morecambe before. But also, Gary Johnson and a lot of footballers, a lot of crowds will make or break, and we need this generation of footballers to have that mental strength really. In that, there's a lot said about obviously mental health, and I'm really behind that. I'm really supportive of it. But we need to get a solution for it, and we need to find a way of these lads and these young athletes where they can really still have that strength. Because there's new problems. I think the mental strength of the generations before was there, but there's new problems these lads have to face now. So I'm really into psychology of just general people, but sportsmen with social media. It's a different culture. You don't have a drinking culture anymore, so that takes away that kind of the stress going away that way. They've got to find new ways of it. So we're more protective of them, which is good, but we've also got to get them into this situation. So. It's so much up there with these young lads, and we've got a lot of young players in this team. So I really
can I just ask you lads before we get into this, because obviously you two were there last night, I wasn't. What was the reaction of the Yellow Army when Mcgavin was on?
They were all behind him. Every time they passed the ball, they were cheering him, and they were saying "Super Brett." Even in the first 10 minutes when he hadn't quite got into the game yet, they said because he had a bit of a knock.
Yeah, it's all pretty positive actually. Yeah, again there was. Again, just talk a lot about supporters when you're struggling, don't they? But I mean, the majority of Torquay fans, as you said, want people to do well. If people are doing well, they'll get behind.
I want to see people do 100%.
But equally, if people, I've never been a huge one for people earn their money to have their right to say whatever they like. No, they don't. But everyone's allowed an opinion. So absolutely within reason, everyone can have their opinion. So I think it was just good to see him looking confident and playing with a bit of belief and a bit of flow to his game. Which again, now the risk of sounding like a manager. Now the key is then the next game, isn't it? You had a good game. Can you have another good game? Can you influence the next game? Can you play in that way in the next game? Which is then the challenge for him at the weekend.
So going into the Facebook comments again. Thank you, Yellow Army, for interacting with us this evening. Craig Hughes, I wouldn't say my opinion on Brett has completely changed because of one good performance, but I've always seen glimpses that he was telling me there is actually a decent player in there. Last night it showed, and I really do now back Brett to start being more consistent for us and show us what he's all about. He worked his socks off last night, and the pop side definitely noticed that, which was great to see. Brett Mcgavin, the new fan favourite, ?
It could be a cult hero, definitely.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
If he gets to 10 goals, he will be. I'll tell you that for free, Tom. You'll be loving it.
You can get 9.
You wouldn't deny him that. So,
9 and a
pint. Come on.
And a league winner's medal. That's what you can get. James Bailey says, for me, it's about consistency. I want everyone who pulls on a Torquay United shirt to try their best and go on to bigger things. I was pleased for him after such a struggle here to get that performance and applause leaving the pitch. As others have said, if he continues in this role, teams will need to mark him, which will create space elsewhere. It's up to Brett now to make sure the role is his own, and I hope for his sake he does that and goes on to flourish.
Yeah, I think that validation is important as well, isn't it? At our level, because we're where you play for at our level, you can hear what people say. You can't hear what people say so much at bigger grounds, but people can hear him. He'll hear comments. He'll hear individual comments. And for that validation from supporters will mean a lot to him, and hopefully he can help him kick on.
Well done, Brett. We also act like that didn't take Tom 3 attempts to read out.
Yeah, you'll never see that.
That's almost as much as it takes me to do an intro, Tom. Keep it up.
Doesn't happen often, lads.
It does never happen.
Can't all be perfect. Ross Warner says Brett was great last night. He looked the player he promised to be and was his man of the match. I just hope for his sake and ours that it's not a one-off. I feel he's playing too deep and will be better suited to sitting behind the front two. Only time will tell if Gary has faith in him, but that performance last night can't do anything but strengthen his chances.
It is an option, isn't it? I think the option for me, I agree in that sense, is that he either plays in front of the defence as like a deep line playmaker, or he plays like kind of an attacking number 3, or in behind where he's kind of linking the play. I don't quite know if he's got the skill, like not so much the skill, but like the pace and like the runs yet, where to be like Lemon Ivans had. To be a number 10, if that ever was needed, if we had an injury to one of the strikers, but I wouldn't rule him out. Like, it's good on the ball. He is good on the ball.
Yeah, he is, it's good.
A few extra comments following on from that. As Sam was doing last week, we're reading into other people's conversations on social media. Harry Nichols says, and yet when he's been asked to play higher or asked to be box to box, he's been woeful. Funny how we read games so differently. He looked better last night playing deeper, almost as a central defender midfield player. And
but you can be a good. It's a bit like saying when Fabinho was playing for Liverpool, he'd be able to play in the number 10 role. We can't. That's not his strength. His strength, Mcgavin's strength last night was in picking up the ball and using the ball, kind of having that player further deep. That's what Fabinho was good at, shielding for Liverpool, which he was good. That's what he was good at last night. So just because you're in midfield doesn't mean you can, fulfill every role.
Yeah,
and Ross replied that he agreed. He looked good last night and near the player we hoped for when we signed. He was thinking a diamond with him at the point and maybe leave the tracking back to either the more mobile Jarvis or Ash. He did look great in the holding CDM though, and he agrees with what Harry said there as well. So there's a few more as well.
Thanks everyone who's reading.
Yeah, there's a few more points. They're on the Yellow Army page, so just bear with me a second.
Because it is an interesting one. I thought Hansen looked quite useful. I mean, I'm not going to say he's a complete turnaround player after 15 minutes against a tired Farnborough, but like
this is the start of me proving you all wrong. You see?
Yeah.
I just want to say no. To be fair, I did at the sponsors event. I had a very nice chat with him. Very nice lad. So
did you? Oh, now you tell me.
Yeah, he's a really nice lad. It's really weird because he's younger than me. But really confident kind of like sort of just nice humoured in that as well. So I'll put it all down to that chat if he does that.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
There's a few more comments from the Yellow Army Facebook page, 8 actually. So still quite a bit to go on here. Martin Danby says, "Play the lad."
Can I just come in and just say, do we need to do all of them? Because it just goes on a bit, doesn't it?
I mean, they're all. They're on there.
I mean, editing today, don't you? Yeah, I might as well go through.
Go.
Martin Danby says, "Play the lad in his preferred position and you'll get a lot more out of him like last night, as did most others. Last night was a better performance in the main. May it continue." We've got Les. Oh, I'm going to butcher your last name here, Lance. I'm sorry. Les Quaintance. I apologise. I've completely butchered that. He said last night he was playing in his normal place instead of playing out of place, and the performance showed. The trouble is a lot of players, it's Gary Johnson's plays them out of place, such as Dylan De Silva, sticking him as a wing back. Not good, but as a winger, he does well. Jamie Pike says it's all about consistency, isn't it? He has no credit in the bank, as the manager likes to say, so he has to build this up over the coming months. Be interested to see how he goes against a team with a higher press, not allowing him so much time on the ball.
Very true.
Keith Hare says, "To be honest, never thought I would say this. Actually, last night, Brett was outstanding and deserves all praise he's receiving."
Yeah.
Teresa Clement says, "Give the lad a break and stop scrutinising him. It's no wonder he lacks confidence."
Yeah, fair enough.
It's all positive, so yeah, it'll only benefit, but yeah, it's a fair point.
Paul Dennis says, "Play him in a position which is natural to him. That's the trouble with Gary Johnson. He tries to put square pegs in round holes and sticks to systems which exposes players' weaknesses rather than bring out whatever strengths they may have."
Like
certain times that's fine.
Yeah. Mark Haller says, "Brett is not a long ball type of midfielder. Put the ball on the ground and you'll see the player he is." To be fair, no one would disagree. I've been pretty consistent in my view since he joined the club. Most matches he's played in, he's had the ball sailing over his head the whole time. The better passes the team becomes, the bigger asset he will be. And Mark Hepworth finally says, never been a fan of him, but last night he did impress him. Didn't overcomplicate things, played simple passes. Hopefully it's not a one-off and he gets some confidence behind him for Saturday if he's selected. Technically a decent player, just always seems to lack interest and work rate. And that is kind of my view on Brett. There's a player there, but I don't know, just there were a lot of times last season I thought he's not putting much of an effort in.
Yeah, I've never been a huge one for this lacking interest. It's his job. So I don't know about lacking interest. Maybe at certain times body language can stick at, the one I remember was Leon Constantine. I'm probably too young to remember on YouTube, but he had appalling body language and just looked like the laziest person you've ever seen. But then put a football near him, or when he was on loan, obviously when we signed him he was crap. But put a football near him and he came to life. So his body language at times wasn't great in games, but he had unbelievable ability. So I think
good on the ball and do what they do, and I don't care.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Ryan Bowman always looks angry, but he's still got a few goals. He's had a fantastic career. So
yeah, that's right.
But
I do feel I've been saying it the last few seasons. I do think when we keep the ball down on the deck, we are a really good side.
Yes,
and it shocks me how direct we have become.
Please, Gary, keep playing passing football. Play it into your striker's feet. That's when the key.
I think it's easier said than done at times.
It is easier.
I think, but
sometimes just choose the right ball. Go if you're going to play long ball football, play it correctly. Go for second balls. Else, what is the point?
Your premise has to be to try and keep the ball down, and that's what we did much better on Tuesday. I thought. You've gone to mute, Swanee. Sounding good again.
Save the hoofball for when we're in the winter on bobbly pitches.
Yeah, absolutely. Wireless keyboard, I think. So that's why that's been happening. But yeah, no. If we're going to do long ball football, go for second balls. Don't just do a long ball to the striker and then lose the ball. Because even when we had Danny Wright, we didn't do it well. So and he's taller than Jarvis. But there we go. So
FA Cup draw, lads, eh? How about that?
Tasty.
Super Tim Sills, my favourite Torquay player of all time.
Oh, my life. That's one he really
would
going to
be
good.
Great.
Going?
Nice,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it would be great if joined us next week, wouldn't it?
It would be amazing. I don't think there's any way we'll pull that off this one. He's a famous man. Come on, he's a famous man.
But, I remember when I met him.
It was incredible.
You need contacts.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
When I met him at, I think he was presented Player of the Year when we stayed up under Nicholson, and I was like, "You're my childhood hero," and he's like, "Thanks for forward now." And I thought it'd been best in my life. Right.
My favourite Tim Sills story is when he left us and he was playing for Basingstoke Town. They played away at Western Supermare, and me and my dad and a couple of mates went another day, not quite a few beers, and then we went and we saw him and we went and had a chat with him, and we had a chat with him in the warm up, and then he got subbed. He came and had a chat with us. Lovely bloke.
Very articulate.
I can't make the game, unfortunately. It would have been nice, but it's a lovely story.
Promising managing career as well.
Yeah, that he gets to knock us out of the FA. I mean, that we but yeah, it kind of has trouble written all over it, doesn't it? The romance of the couple, we tested on that.
Yeah, no, and I think because he's done great at Hamworthy, I followed his career very closely as the manager. I was just doing it part time locally and all that, but yeah, no, it's
very good manager. The second aren't they at the minute? It's not going to be an easy place to go.
Yeah, and it's all about momentum in the FA Cup. That's what it's about. It's what momentum your club's at.
What would you ask him if you had a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, this has got to be legal. It's funny.
I'll just talk to him about that header, to be fair.
Oh, well,
shall we ask him?
To be fair,
shall we ask him next week?
Yeah. So if you haven't worked out, all goes to plan. Tim Sills is joining us next week, so we put a tweet out.
Get your mugs ready.
Yeah. Oh, I have got my Talkie Talk mug ready. So if you've got any questions about his Wimble, we're going to talk about hopefully his Wimbledon time, his match career, and of course his time at Torquay United.
Yeah, and he's already shown in our interactions with him this week just that he is an amazing bloke. Because the first day he said he can do, I can't do, so we've had to move it. Clearly, I'm not going to miss this. So he's moved the date just for me, pretty much. Yeah, so that's also amazing.
What a bloke! So I am nervous. No, I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
So. Are we going to ask the questions for him, or the bearing in mind we don't have him for like 6 hours?
Yeah, that is true. Actually, we'll find the best ones.
We might have to filter them if people go crazy on this.
But Tim Sills will be joining us next week. As I say, I will wear my 0708. Actually, I'll make sure
For those of you that maybe can't hear, that was my wife in the background singing "Feed the Sills" and he will score. She knows it.
So what a player! Iconic player. That's a good way to end it.
She's even remembered he had a mask on as well. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
It's good, that. It's good.
Yeah,
What about this weekend, Swanee?
Yeah. I'll be there. Can't wait. Chelmsford.
Yeah.
We're going to win 2-0.
I was going to go for that. I predicted a win in every game this season. And this is bad. Like, I never do. I didn't do that last season. I'll predict us to lose at Yeovil, I think.
I did predict us to win every game last year, hence why I finished bottom of the Talky Talk predictions league.
Hence why I finished
generally we were crap.
I think we'll win because you've gone 2-0. I'll change it up. I'll go 1-0.
I was going to say 2-0, but I don't want to. That's boring.
Oh, come on.
Dom said 2-1 Torquay, didn't he?
That's going to be your next prediction.
Dom did, yeah. What did you say? 1-0. I'm confident we'll win because I think it's another opportunity for us to get 3 points, and I think it's a big game in a lot of ways because obviously we then go into a break for the cup, and we can go on into that with the back of another win,
no midweek
6 wins out of 7, no midweek games for a few weeks. So yeah, I think that. But I think we'll win. I'm going to have to stick with never going against your gut, so I'm going to stick with 2-0.
If we win, it's been quite a successful start because we could be joint top.
6 wins out of 7. Oof, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and hopefully we start to play better as the season goes on now. So
yeah,
my prediction
2-0.
What predicting how the season will go, might go that way. So, but
yeah,
we've got a lot of work to do, and that was not the be all and end all last night. Farnborough, they were tired and they did threaten there and there, but teams will threaten us more. So,
in fairness, it was one of those moments you get to remind yourself that a lot of those blokes have probably been to work this morning.
Yeah.
so that was and of course our lads would have been.
But that's the thing we're playing.
Their feet up on the beach all day or whatever. But
so yeah. But there we are. So thank you for joining us this week. Hopefully we'll cool down a little bit.
Hopefully we'll call next week. Get your mugs ready.
Yeah.
Get your signs ready. Get your inflatable Vanarama trophies ready.
Yeah.
For next week.
Get your blue square bet.
If Tim doesn't have his Tim Seals Talky Talk mug, that we might as well just fob him off for next week. And
right. I also like to point out before we end the episodes that usually when we do, we go straight through. And I don't have to edit anything. I reckon there's been about 5 or 6 things I have to edit out. So if any point you've looked at it, or some of it was made to best, any of this you've looked at it and you've gone, why have they left that in? It's hot. I'm tired. And I've missed it. So
it's probably as well because Dom's not here as well. So there's always more messing about when Dom's not here, just because he's the editor and we don't have to behave ourselves. Basically,
it's like the supply teachers. There,
it is, definitely, So but we haven't slagged him off this time, so he's done all right.
Yeah. I'll cut that one out last time.
He'll be out of the doghouse next week. So
yeah, midweek football and goals I do can't happen. All right, so I'm keeping that in. Right, so we'll see you next week with Tim Sills. We'll be a lot more professional.
We will be on our best behaviour next week.
Yeah. Arrive on time. We'll all talk over each other. We get very excited and nervous. We'll go a bit red.
You're gonna have to contain yourself for a whole week, Swanee. You're gonna have to manage it.
No, I'll be fine.
We will branch out this year. That'll be 3 guests already. We're only just in September. That'll be good. That's good, isn't it?
Bring them on.
Let's face it. This is guests going to peak in it. Ain't gonna get any better than this, is it?
No.
It's not, is it? It's
no.
not. Let's be honest, it's not.
No,
next week, Tim Sills. The following week, Brett Mcgavin.
Yeah.
Well, if we could get Woodsy on, that'd be close. I would really struggle with that one as well. Yeah,
cool. It's excellent.
Yeah, no, he works for Exeter. We can't have him on.
Well done for having a successful managing career. Close career. Right, anyway, we've waffled. Thanks for Galaxy TQ. Thanks everyone who stayed with us. Bye.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays on side, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.